Yeah, ultimately it's even cultivate. Maybe when we're younger, let's say, like you have the kind of playground rules, like, oh, maybe even bullying or something. This could be literal too, by the way. But I'm just saying more like, oh, my dad can beat up your dad, and these kind of more argumentative to me. I mean, okay, maybe if you're a kid or teenager, but at some point, I think the maturation, and if we're talking about mastery, it's just the advancement and actualization of our potential. I think it must include also the evolution of the way that we approach an art, and one way is just again to like, again, everyone has their background or chip on their shoulder or something that happens. So, some maybe just get stuck and they maybe that's their habit that they approach life like that, like against more antagonistic, and I think I'm perhaps being biased here. I think another way to live, and kind of approach the arts and your life, right? This is where martial art principles that you learn via the training can be applied to the way you approach other people and other relationships. One is like, it's about assumptions, right? Like I'm right, you're wrong, right? Or whatever. That's a very limited, I would say, immature. And more mature is that I have my assumptions, you have your assumptions, right? And that's just reality of it. The third level is that can we find overlap, of those assumptions? Can I learn from you? Can you learn from me? Instead of just straw manning each other. That's like saying that this person making up a certain a caricature of Wing Chun, right, or karate, or MMA or Tai Chi Chuan, right? Those kind of things, and then attacking that. Oh, they're just like that. That's that kind of straw man argument I think, lazy logic and lazy thinking, and immature actually. Do you want to? And this kind of gets into martial arts. Is it for fighting, right, or is it for empowering, right? And yes, fighting is one context, one slice of the pie. I think a capable martial arts should be able to defend themselves, but is that everything about the why and what and how of our training? Or is it also kind of overcoming some of those kind of programming that we have in a way that fighting ourselves, right? That actually prevent us from having good relationships, good culture. And so I like, I can't help but kind of zoom in and out. So I really appreciate this discussion, and for us to be able to talk about like how can we pave a path of training that is beneficial at all levels, and to even your so-called opponent from a different school or style. Like back in the day, like in the movies, I challenge you, and that's cool, maybe, okay, and then what, like we beat each other up, and then what, but can we learn something? Do we have the humility to say, can we get a coffee or drink some tea? Like, I like what you did there. What was that? So I don't know, maybe I'm idealistic. Maybe it's hard with all the egos and the kind of inflamed sort of platforms and positions nowadays, but as a healer, I think maybe that's the healer part coming out. Heal and whole and well are kind of similar in etymology, and so you see a lot of conflict going on in the world, and I think it comes from lack of cultivation, whether it's martial cultivation or meditation or whatever. And there's so much like there's kind of assumptions, and either or the other person is, I don't know, just too much division. So for myself, it's healing for myself. Like if that's all I see and I internalize that, I feel bad. I feel anxious. I feel, like imbalanced. But if I can cultivate another way of being, right, then it kind of immunizes me against all the craziness out there. And maybe if that becomes strong enough, then I can vibe out to other people this kind of more integrative way of being.